Savvy Business Radio, drawing out the best from our guest with our host, Christina Nichman.
Hello, this is your host, Christina from Savvy Radio. Thank you for joining us for our Heartbeat of the World series, where we're bringing you some of the top experts around the globe to talk about some of the greatest challenges facing our country and the world. Our guest today is Chris Casamassa, karate master, sharing his latest book, Bully-Proof Fitness, an ultimate guide for parents that equip them with the tools needed to win the battle against bullies, childhood obesity, and increase their kids' self-confidence. Get the book today at bullyprooffitness.com and get a free app at Google Play, Bully-Proof Fitness. Hi, Chris. Welcome to Savvy Business Radio. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome, Christina. Thank you.
We're so blessed to have you here today. You're an American martial artist, actor, and you've written a wonderful best-selling book called Bully-Proof Fitness. And that's great because bullying is really on a rampage out there. You know, what was funny is I was bullied in high school, with junior high. And, you know, my teacher's idea to handle it was ignore them. And guess what? It didn't work. I was bullied even harder and more. I'm curious to find out how you're helping people with that. But before we go to sharing all of those groovy details, share with our audience a little bit about your backstory and what led you to creating your school. You teach martial arts and also coming into the world of martial arts and also writing this book.
All right. Well, you got a lot of questions there, and I've got a ton of info for you. So I'll help it out for all your listeners. I started in the martial arts myself when I was 4 years old. I kind of grew up in it. My father is the founder and creator of our style of martial arts, which is called Red Dragon Karate. And my dad started martial arts training when he was in the military. He's a United States Marine Corps officer. He's a military police officer stationed over in Japan, and he fell in love with it over there. And once he came back to the States, like he had such a passion for martial arts, he started training in different styles. And he did something in the 1960s that really was unheard of. It's very common and very popular today, but he took all the knowledge that he learned from his different martial arts and he put them all together into one style and kind of did his own thing. So, you know, I tell people nowadays that our style, Red Dragon Karate, is actually one of the first mixed martial arts styles ever in the United States. So I give him all the credit and props for that. So I grew up in it. My dad was my hero and my role model. Wow. And I always wanted to be like him when I grew up. So I've been around martial arts my whole life, and now I help him oversee operations. We've got 12 locations in the Los Angeles area of Southern California. Wow. And currently we've got about 4,000 active members. So it's quite a handful of things to do. Mm-hmm. But we're always helping kids, right? 80% of our business is made up of children under the age of 18. So teaching kids how to empower themselves, get strong, fit, and healthy is what we've been doing for the last 50 years. But that's local impact level. So by writing the book, my goal, my mission was to get out and to impact as many people as I can to help them the way I know that not only the martial arts, but fitness and exercise in general will help people. And my thing right now is I'm trying to get 1 million kids fit, strong, and healthy by the year 2020.
Oh, such a fabulous goal. With so many kids being enamored with their technology and sitting there for hours in front of their cell phone, their iPad, or television, more than ever, we need to get them out of the house and engage in moving.
I agree with you 1,000%.
Now, what have you seen as the greatest gift of martial arts? Why not just take another fighting form? What is special about martial arts in particular?
Well, the martial arts, you may or may not know, but literally it is thousands of years old. I mean, there's drawings on the pyramids of Egypt of fighting styles and fighting systems, you know, which predates a lot of things. So fighting's been around since people have been around, unfortunately. But the martial arts is a system and a series of self-defense, right? All martial arts are similar in that if they're done properly, they're for self-defense, not self-offense, right? So nowadays what we tell kids, and we tell the parents as well, because some of them have a misconception about karate or fighting or taekwondo or whatever it is. But seriously, the martial arts are just that. They're for self-defense. And our job is to create a generation of superheroes and not super bullies. And that's when the martial arts is taught correct, that's exactly what we do. We're empowering these kids to be superheroes, not only for themselves, but for other kids in their area that may be getting bullied.
That's great because you don't have, I'm guessing, and from my experience being bullied, that a lot of the bullies are not very confident themselves, and having something like martial arts, something to be proud of and confident in, would probably take them off the path of being a bully themselves.
Yeah, that's correct. Most bullies, unfortunately, bullying is almost inherited. It comes from bad upbringings, bad parenting, There's a variety of factors that lead to it, or a kid that just doesn't feel good about himself and wants to put others down to make himself feel good. It's literally kind of the lion theory. You know, when a pack of lions attacks a herd of gazelles, they don't go for the gazelle in the front and they don't go for the gazelle in the back, because the one in the front's the fastest, the one in the back's the strongest. What they look for is weakness. So the martial arts helps to eliminate that the look of weakness, because it's not that you're going to end up being like Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan the moment you start training martial arts, but you start to carry yourself differently. You stand up straighter. You're a little more confident in the way that you talk and move. And so a bully is not going to pick primarily on people that look confident and strong. They're going to pick on people that look meek, mild, or kind of introverted. So the martial arts helps in that aspect, and it does help you learn how to protect and fight. But ultimately, the greatest shield that we can give you is the shield of self-confidence.
I love that, because I could have so used your help back in grammar school and in junior high school, because I was completely non-confident. And I think that's the reason I got bullied. And my teacher's solution to that was, well, ignore them and they'll go away. And guess what? They didn't go away. In fact, it got worse and more frequent. And I just kept being more docile. And I guess being like the hurt gazelle, I became more of a target instead of actually pushing them away.
Right. And unfortunately for women, it gets much worse, right? Like guys bully guys all the time, and it's terrible. It's a horrible thing to do. But with women, as they grow up, and you don't sound like you have that mindset, you sound like a very confident and strong woman now. Yes. But once you get into that mindset of being meek, mild, and docile, it leads to different types of abuses for women, right? There's so many cases of sexual assault and rape. It all stems from bullying and from lack of self-esteem. And that's why I'm out traveling the country on a daily basis just about now. I've been so crazy busy. It's wild, but I'm so happy to help people. We do this for kids, we do it for adults, and it works. So, there's a ton of women out there that have been, and like the statistic from the FBI is crazy. It says 1 in 3 women will be attacked or sexually assaulted in their life. I mean, that's a staggering number. You know, as a guy, my chance of being attacked or assaulted is 1 in 50.
Whoa.
Right. So it's just, it's crazy that those stats are like that. But that's why I believe, especially anybody that's listening, if you have a daughter, like you have to enroll her in martial arts, because that's just that one step, that one thing could not only just save her from being bullied at school, but it could save her from being raped or sexually assaulted someday. I have a daughter myself. She's 16 now. She's a 2nd-degree black belt. She's been training with me since she was 4 years old. Wow. And she wanted to quit a million times on the path, right? Even though her dad was a karate instructor, she wanted to quit. But as a dad, as a parent, like I understand I can't be there for her all the time. Like I've got to be confident enough in her ability to defend herself, because when some guy does attack her, her chance is 1 in 3. It's going to happen. And I may or may not be there, but I know right now that my daughter's a badass. And I never want it to happen to her. But I'm kind of secretly, I'm like, I want a guy to like try and just grab her or something, because I know what she can do.
Go try.
Yeah, I just want to be there the day that she just whips some guy's ass because he's trying something she doesn't want to have happen.
Well,
so if there's women or guys listening seriously, and they have a daughter, I tell them it should be required for every female, because if every female like had that skill set and was strong, like the attacks on them would go down. Like guys would start getting their ass kicked, and that would be it. Like they'd be, oh, don't mess with these girls because they're pretty tough.
They think twice about touching a girl. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm beginning to wonder, Chris, is this not only about confidence, but also about the fact that maybe we've been conditioned as women to be so nice? Because I've heard women say, and there was this story, it was The Gift of Fear. That was the book I was reading. And this woman said of her, ended up being her rapist, saying, I didn't want to think nasty thoughts about him. I kind of had this feeling inside, and that was her intuition, a very good gift, telling her something was off with this, but she didn't want to think negative thoughts about this guy. She wanted to say, oh, come on, he couldn't possibly be dangerous. And I think that might play a part. Yeah. What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, well, listen, we do. My father, again, giving all the credit, he created a program in California. There was a serial rapist that was known as the Hillside Stranglers in the 1980s. So he created a program called Rapists Beware, which is a women's empowerment program to help do that. And he got awards from like the president and Senate for his help and work with women. And I continue that training to this day. Mm-hmm. So we do a ton of clinics and classes like that. But you are exactly right. It is conditioning. And unfortunately, this is a male-dominated society. On behalf of all guys, on behalf of all women, I want to apologize for all the asshole guys that are out there. Excuse my language. Yeah. But listen, there's a ton of bad dudes out there, and it's all conditioning. They want women to think that they're weak or meek or mild, and you're not. Listen, I'm going to tell you the secret right now. What? If guys had to give birth, there'd be no more kids on the planet, right? That's how much tougher and stronger. You guys are so tough and so strong. Like the thing of just childbirth alone, and intuition is exactly right. You are so in tune with your emotions and what's going on around you, but you're taught to second guess that, oh, there's no such thing as women's intuition. There's no such thing as knowing danger before it happens. And that's baloney. You talk to any mom, she knows when her kid is in danger. She knows the millisecond it happens. It's intuition that you're in touch with. And like you said, if you don't feel right in a situation, you trust that. You get away from that person or that situation as fast as you can. And that's really just part of the things that we do to help and empower women.
Yeah. And here's something else I came across, and I did this myself, Chris, in my 20s especially, is I came from a family of violence in my home. And so I, in my 20s, found a way to be really mean, mostly emotionally, towards men as my way to deal with it. And sometimes even come across a little bit more masculine. And what I found now that I'm older, that women have their own strength. And it's not necessarily maybe body strength all the time, but we have our own female strength, which is different, is just as strong as men, but different strong, if you know what I mean.
That is correct. Listen, there's only one advantage guys have over women, and that is physical brute strength. That's it. You are smarter than us. You're more intuitive than us. You're more in touch with your emotions than us. And for the most part, guys are jealous of that. And they try, and the bad guys are out there. They try and keep you down and subvert you and make you believe that you're not better, but you are. Women are better. And I'm here to say that as a guy, which is why I love women so much, because you're so awesome.
But also, now, how do you leverage our own strength to, say, a perpetrator that's maybe 100 pounds more than us?
Well, it's situational awareness, which is why I say, recommended training. It's great to talk about it and say, well, you just stand tall and look them in the eyes and it's going to work. And it doesn't, right? That happens in a perfect world, but this world's not perfect. So, like I said, not only should girls do it, but women should get involved in the martial arts as soon as they can, get to a place. And it doesn't even matter the style, like just learn how to defend yourself, learn how to fight back, but be more situationally aware, because if a guy does grab a hold of you, yes, there are things you can do. Yes, there are moves you can technique, but that takes, sometimes months or years of training. It's not something you're going to learn in an overnight clinic. Yeah. So just being more aware and avoiding the situation before it happens is the key to ultimate self-defense.
Wow. I love that you brought this up, because I think it's epidemic in the world, not just in the United States. And that is the obsession with the cell phone. And more so, I think, with females, I see them walking down the street and their head is immediately inside their cell phone. Now, I see guys texting, but not to the extreme that I see women walking down the street with their head in their cell phone. And you're the perfect target for any perpetrator that wants to hurt you, because you're so completely not present.
That's right. People are living inside the virtual world of their cell phones more and more. And for women, that is a bad thing. They've got to constantly be aware and be on the lookout for, people that might want to attack them or hurt them or harm them. And like I'm a big fan of studying statistics and numbers, because they show trends and patterns and things like that. When the FBI interviews rapists and sexual assaultists, one of the things they say was, why did you attack this person? A lot of it comes from, it was someone that they knew or met briefly, but the other one is they just weren't looking. They weren't paying attention. They were looking for that easy victim, easy prey. If you're staring into your cell phone while you're walking down the street, that puts you in that position, and it's something you should want to avoid at all costs. Yeah.
And it's just not necessary. You can wait till you're at home or in the office, but keep yourself safe, because when you're out there, there's no one else with you. You don't have a bodyguard. We don't have our own hired bodyguards following us around every day. Now, Chris, you mentioned something else early on, that self-defense, which is martial arts, is not a means to kick butt per se. I mean, you can kick butt if someone comes and challenges you, but the premise of it is not to go hurt people. Correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, because I remember early on when I had gotten 2 free classes at Tiger Schumann back in my 20s. And this is when I was very angry at men. And the guy who gave me the 2 free classes said, we'd like to sign you up, but we have one question. Would you ever use this to harm anyone? And honestly, at that point in time, with the rage I felt in my heart, I said, no, I can't promise you that. And they said, well, I'm sorry, we can't take you as a student. But that was a great integrity on their part to realize that we're not going to teach someone to go harm people, because that's not what this is all about.
That's true. Although they should have taken you as a student. But, in either case, they should have. And, it's worked out okay for you over the years. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, now tell me what you're going through and kind of plugging away with a little, and we don't want to give them all the secrets here. Bully-proof fitness goes through. What are you trying to reach, and what is your goal with your new book?
Well, with the book that's out, I'm trying to reach the parents, because ultimately the parents end up being the role models, the leaders, and the coaches for their kids, right? I can only have a certain amount of impact on them. So the book, it's the ultimate guide for parents in the battle against bullies and bellies and how to make their kid feel like a super ninja. Now, unfortunately, bullying and bellies do go hand in hand. The other big epidemic that is taking over America is childhood obesity. Whoa. And again, statistically, they say one in 5 kids can't pass a basic physical fitness test, and over 10 million kids in the United States right now are considered overweight or obese. So it's a staggering thing. But here's the thing. There was a study by Davis and Nixon that they did on why kids got bullied, right? And the results that came back were incredible. 92% of the kids that they surveyed that had gotten bullied were because of one of 2 factors: the way they looked and their weight, right? So it was their physical, with the way they looked or they dressed, or their weight. 92%. And the last 8% of that was just based on their race. Whoa. So, a lot of people think, well, they pick on them because of their race. That's not true. According to that study, it was because of the way they looked and the way they dressed is why they got bullied. So being in shape and being strong, fit, and healthy is a super important factor. Not only that, like, kids are getting diseases that are normally only adults would get: hypertension, stroke, high blood pressure, diabetes. Like, kids, there's 10, 11-year-old kids that are now being diagnosed with these symptoms because they're overweight and they're out of shape and obese. So the book addresses all that. It explains to you how to keep your kids fit, strong, and healthy. It's inside of it. It's got a 5-day, 5-minute fitness formula. So, like, a lot of people think, well, you got to do this hours and hours a day. No, you don't. 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's it. And you can be on your path to fit, strong, and healthy, because it's all habits. We're all creatures of habit. And once you get the kids and even the adults, again, the other crazy stat is most overweight kids have parents who are overweight themselves. So this will help. It's for the whole family, right? And like I was telling you earlier, my mission, my passion, my plan, my purpose is I want to help 1 million kids get fit, strong, and healthy by 2020. And that's why I'm out traveling the country, talking about the book, doing seminars, just to get the message out there and to help as many people as possible.
Well, yeah, what I'm hearing from you also is that when the kids are bullied for their weight or the way they look, you're putting yourself out there as a target, and it's not necessary. And it's interesting, I think it was 8 months now, I was on a path where I was really unhealthy, fit wise and nutrition wise, and I was having a lot of not good symptoms. And I thought, I'm getting fairly old here, and I do not want to end my life or my golden years suffering with a whole bunch of meds and in hospitals. Let me get straightened and get real here, because a lot of my job here, even doing broadcasting or when I do consulting, is mostly sitting on my buns. But being so fatigued, my body so out of whack, I couldn't even begin to think fitness. So what I did, I joined a support group that was a nutritionist was heading it up, and it got us bit by bit, not eliminating all of our negative foods at once, but trying to get rid of one by one all the foods that are not best for us and adding more better foods like fruits and vegetables, bit by bit, where over the course of 4 months, you build a strong habit where it becomes part of your life. Now it's 8 months in and I'm loving it. I can't even imagine eating some of the things I used to eat, like, soda and stuff, which I'm like, soda, yuck. But now it's become a part of my life, and now I've been able to add fitness. So for anyone out there, parents or otherwise, if you feel like I can't possibly even begin this with my child because I'm so out of weight and I can't see the end of the road, it's not a one-step process.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Hit the nail on the head. And there's just a few points I want to make with that. Number one is you cannot out-train a bad diet. So the diet really is 90% of it. And so you're already, that group you're in sounds like a great group, and you're on the right track. Food habits. Another thing, people think they have to eat, they eat 3 big meals a day, and it's not true. You're actually supposed to eat 5 or 6 small meals a day. So you eat more, so your body burns, your metabolism increases, it allows you to burn more calories and start to lose weight. And the other thing too, especially for parents that are overweight, thinking, if they're listening to me going, oh, that sounds great for you, you've done it all your life. It doesn't matter. It's a small step, right? That old saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You weren't born overweight. You didn't get to be, fat and obese overnight. It took time, and it's going to take time to get that weight off, and it's a slow process. And that's the other thing too, is I don't believe in diets, because diets are a short-term fix to a long-term problem. Like you, I believe in healthy eating habits that are going to last a lifetime. Like I eat everything. I just don't eat a lot of it. We all have our splurge day, the day like I'm going to Lombardi's in Little Italy and I'm going to get some pizza, right? So there's always that day where you're going to splurge. You just don't do that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all the time. So it's just small little steps that anyone can take. And that's why it's in the book. it shows them the path and the plan of take these little steps, do this, stay away from that, or make this happen over time. And every parent that does this is going to get their kids to follow them, because to a child, to the child, a parent is, it's like a god to them. They don't know anything else. So those are the leaders. Those are the next generation of coming up. And we want to show them some habits that are going to last them a lifetime.
Yeah. And a family that does this together will be healthier and happier. Because one thing I found is I wouldn't say depressed, but it was really hard for me to go throughout my day. I was taking 5 or 6 coffees just to be able to exist, because I was so fatigued in my body. And when you start there, like you said, it does feel impossible, but was Rome built overnight? No, it wasn't. So realizing that wherever your health is, it's going to take a bit by bit process to get it back to your complete optimum health level. But it's possible, because you've done it with all of your students at your school, haven't you?
We're doing our best. It's not a perfect science, but it has helped a ton of people.
Absolutely. And where can people get your book and find out more about if they happen to be in California, go take some courses with you?
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, my book's available on Amazon. So if they just type in my name, which is Chris Casamassa, or Bully Proof Fitness is the name of the book, Bully Proof Fitness on Amazon, they can get it there. It's available in Kindle, or it's also available as a paperback to get it out there. And then also for all the tech savvy people that are listening to your audience, we actually have a free Bully Proof app. So if they've got their iTunes store or Google Play, they just type in Bully Proof. There's a free app, and they'll get a bunch of resources, some free workout videos. Because like I said, I'm not really here to try and make $1 million. I'm here to try and help 1 million kids get fit, strong, and healthy, which is why I'm traveling the country doing what I do. So go to iTunes, go to Google Play, and just type in Bully Proof. You're going to get a download for a free app with some free resources. And then also, of course, we have a website, bullyprooffitness.com, where they can go. And there's even resources for school administrators and employers, right? Because bullying doesn't just end at school. It happens at schools. It happens at work. So there's a place where school administrators and employers can go and download some free stuff that they can use to help their school zone or their work zone be bully-proof and safe.
Oh, I love this. But Chris, I want to end with one last thing, because this is something that comes up a lot from the parents we've had on our show. And that is, a lot of the bullying isn't physical, but emotional. And a lot of it's being done on social media. What would be your advice to parents who are suffering with their child being on some social media site and they're getting attacked emotionally?
Well, listen, they've got to have clear lines of communication with their parent. If that happens, I want the parents should always be communicating. They should also be monitoring where their kids are online and watching what their kids do. Listen, I got a whole 25-minute rant on social media and social media bullying and all that. It's a horrible, horrible, terrible thing. It's the most cowardly thing ever. Listen, I get it a lot, like being an actor and being on movies and TV shows. Like, there's a ton, people are just vicious. They're mean sometimes. I got a ton of awesome fans. Every once in a while, you get a couple of ding dongs that are out there, and it's just, it hurts. It's very hurtful. And it's so cowardly, because like a bully at school has to actually be in your face, right? And say, I'm going to kick your butt, or they're going to do that. So that at least takes some kind of courage, even though it's a horrible thing. But to do it online and sit behind a keyboard where you're anonymous and you just throw something out there, like, that's the worst. So for parents, I just say, listen, you've got to have clear communication with your children at all times. So whether they're getting physically bullied, cyberbullying, you got to know, you got to help them, and just, it's not their fault. So don't blame your child. Don't blame yourself even. Like, some parents go, oh, it's my fault, my kid's getting bullied. Don't blame yourself. Just focus on the solution, not the problem.
Yeah. And what's some possible solution? Maybe for one, not reading those comments, because I one gal who started a YouTube channel was getting the most hateful comments. And I'm like, well, stop reading them.
Right.
For one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an amazing key on your computer that helps solve all that. It's called delete.
I love that, the button.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fascinating. I thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your wisdom. And everyone, please get Bully Proof Fitness today and go to bullyprooffitness.com. And I want to thank you again for coming to Savvy Business Radio.
Christina, thank you so much. It's people like you that help me get my message out, and I really appreciate the time on your show and all the listeners. So thank you again for helping me do what I do.
You betcha, and thank you.
Find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest. Call 732-474-7375 or email Christina@savvybusinessradio.com.